have our SOC team. They are detecting anything which is happening anomaly. So we really look at the incident that's happened and how to handle the incident. Okay, so this is reactive reactive approach, because we are waiting for something to happen to handle. So this is the reactive approach. Okay, but the CISO here in this organization, why he wanted to go and find these kind of new threats, or APT, or advanced persistent threats, or maybe an indication of compromise. So the proactive way, guys, is basically the threat hunting. And that's why in so many occasions I was telling you there is a difference between reactive and proactive. Okay, again, what all these kind of answers here? Root cause analysis, guys, is part of incident response. In incident response, we do something called continuations, and we do something called eradication. And in the eradication, we look for the root cause analysis, okay, and we try to find how the malicious code or malicious actor get into our network and compromise one of machines. So this is the root cause analysis. Why? Because when I wanted to eradicate, I wanted to really see what potentially was the main reason for this attack to materialize or to happen. Okay, active response means you are acting in responding to incidents. So this is also part of incident response. Advanced antivirus is not going to help to really discover if we have incidents happening in our organization, and it will not. Why? Because even antivirus guys working in a proactive technique, reactive technique, if it find a virus, okay, it will delete this virus. So we should have first, okay. Information sharing community. This is, guys, is basically threat intelligence. Okay, we should have a community to share new threats and to talk about new malwares and to talk about new indication of compromise. The threat hunting will utilize later on these kind of threat intelligence. But the right answer here for this question is basically threat hunting. I wanted to really go and hunt, and we also explain in this part that threat hunting is a process, and this process is going to require you to go and really to have a hypothesis that your system already compromised, and trying to really prove you are right or no by collecting evidence and by looking for threat intelligence sources. Okay, this is another question. Okay, so let's go on these questions. And this kind of question, guys, is really, we call this question is basically a scenario-based questions. In this exam, you will be getting, I mean, in our exam, inshallah, the BELT exam in 2-3 days, you will be getting kind of, scenario-based question. So you really need to read the whole scenario and tell us the answer. So we will be giving you scenario, something similar to this kind of question. We're just training you to see the scenario. Okay, I understand. That's why Asail, I agree with Asail that sometimes these questions will take, there are only 5 scenario questions. Okay, there is only 5 questions as a scenario based. So there is no, all the questions is not scenario, just some scenarios. Okay, so can you guys really read the scenario here? The scenario is about ABT. X means like ABT 29, ABT 28, ABT 25. So these guys managed to compromise your network. Okay, and look at what happened. Okay, and tell us what do you think, what is the right answer. So I got only Naif so far. We can just wait for the other to read and let me know. Okay, so Afra is saying, MashaAllah, it is A, okay? And we have Naif also said it's A. Reem is saying it's A, okay? So good contribution, yeah, Reem. So I think that's we really need to go on this question exactly, and I will explain one thing, guys. It's really the ABT guys are really into your network, so they managed to really compromise your network, okay? And they started to look for another machine to compromise. So really, the answer for this question could be any one of them, okay? But why? Because once he compromised one machine, we mentioned that something called island hopping, which is lateral moving. It will, you can see him scanning to jump between machine to machine, and also you can see him also do defensive evasion, maybe disabling your firewall. So all of these guys can be indication of compromise. So this is all can be really answers. But what really will leave a very huge log up in your network flow is this one. Why? Because you can see there is a log for uh, so the wallet is reconnaissance always related to collections. Okay. So here, guys, what really can be very noticeable, very notable for this attack is you can see part of your network flow analyzer. We talked about the network flow analyzer that shows you how much network flow is going out of your network. As you can see, there is bunch of 1 GB to 5 GB. Okay, is being transferred and again to be transferring to C2. Okay, so you can see this is being transferring to facebook.russia.com. This is the example that we have mentioned before when we were looking at the incident handling and all the stuff. So this is could be really great indication that they are into your network and really exporting this data, because you can easily extract this data and see what the attacker is trying to really exfiltrate out of your network. So this is the scenario, guys, here. Okay. Also, we have a question here. Let's go to this questions. Okay, this question is about SQL injection, and here it mentioned it choose to only how to really protect your software or your web application or mobile application or even your cloud application from SQL injection. So it's saying here you need to really talk about two solutions. And this is what we have covered in the lesson when we talked about software vulnerabilities. Okay. Ustaz Nawar, mashallah, saying it's A and C. I see Ibtisam saying also, Faisal is saying A and C, Ibtisam saying input validation. This is correct, but we need to choose two. Ibtisam, okay. Reem is saying C, definitely, okay. Razan saying A and C. Okay, so I can see, mashallah, most of you guys are coming from, mashallah, web developed from the answer, because you didn't hesitate to really answer this question. So really good, mashallah, effort, and I really like it. So here, of you guys really right, it's A and C, definitely, because we have, first of all, SQL injection is input, it's going to be done by input validation. So you need to validate what kind of inputs you are taking from the user, especially the forms and all the username and password. Anything that you accept from the user, you really need to really validate it. And we mentioned that the validation can be done in two stages. You can do client validation and you can do server validation. So we have already covered this one. And parameterized query means I need to really I really need to separate between the code between the data I'm getting from the control of the select query. So this is what is parameterized query is all about. طبعا for sure session management here. Okay, very good question from Ibtisam. Why Ibtisam we didn't use this one? You remember when we talked about script, script XSS, we mentioned that when we do output encoding, this kind of greater than and lower than, it will be taking off and and it will not be executed, especially if someone put it in your website, okay, and it will be executed in the browser. So output encoding will be helping in the cross-site scripting. It will not be helped in the SQL injection. Why? Because end of day it can help, right? But it will not help. Why? Because we are getting the data from the user and right away we're putting it in SQL command, and the SQL command will be executed in your database. So the output encoding will not be there. Why? Because output encoding means that your page now okay, will show you this what the attacker was trying to inject inside in the web page. So it will be not executable. Why? Because it's going to be a script without all this greater than and lower than, and it will be replaced with alert and ALT and control and all the stuff. So, but very good question. This is will help you, inshallah, in the next, I think, in a few questions you will see cross-site scripting coming. Okay, guys, do we understand right now? This is was already covered before. Okay, so let's look at this basically scenario. Okay, it's easy scenario, so I will let you guys to read. So we have someone called Dev, and he is a penetration tester. Okay, I see Bassam is saying it's social media, profiling, and phishing. Okay, we can see Faisal also saying C. Okay.
I believe it's a social engineering. It's using an authority as an administrator to maybe scare or intimidate the one who is asking for the password. And maybe he's gonna tell, oh, if you didn't do it today, we're gonna have financial losses. So he's gonna scare him, make him intimidate, and make him feel it's an urgent. And he's, like an administrator ID too. So he's gonna, being authorized. I believe he's I forget the word when someone takes
impersonating.
Yeah, impersonation and the administrator.
Okay, I agree with you. So, mashallah, Faisal here is saying that, okay, this is was really a social engineering scenarios. So we have a penetration testers. He used the professional directory. We will look at, inshallah, when we start our ethical hacking course, we'll talk about how to use professional directory, like who is like Maltego, really collect data about the company. Okay, one of the things that we collect is email address. So he get the email address of the network guys, and he send him an email pretending that he is someone else, okay, and asking him to give him the password to be part of the password exercise. So this is basically a social engineering because he wanted to trick the administrator and see how it works. So this is part of social media, okay, profiling. So he got this detail from a social media profiling. So maybe he used LinkedIn to get some information, okay, and then he sent him an email to fish him to get his username or password to log into the network. So this is the social media profiling and phishing that has been used. And again, guys, one of the things that I explained before and I really emphasize is really social media can be a place where the attacker will look at, because if you said, okay, this is me, okay, I'm working for the company XYZ, and this is things I'm doing there, okay, and this is the servers that I'm doing, this is hardware I'm dealing with, okay, this is kind of my email address. You're basically giving all the attacker what they need to start to launch basically an attack against you. So it's really important to really limit. Okay, so Nawar, mashallah, is complaining that you guys are fast readers. So we can give it 8 years. It's easy to observe. Okay. So we give it now. Don't worry, I'm not gonna answer this, Nawar. I will let them. I will let them to read this and take their times to really come up with an answer here. So here is answer the. Okay, guys, can you lower your hands all now, right now? Abir is asking you guys, can you lower your hands? Everyone can lower his hands. Okay, please. Okay. So. Okay, hi, Afran, can you guys lower your hands? Ayat, okay, I can see a lot of you guys, mashallah. Okay, so we see here, okay, we see here which is the following describe the process of which code was developed, tested, and deployed in a small batches. Okay, in a small batches. This should be the key answer for this question, guys. Okay, so we agree that when we develop any software, we need to go through a process. We mentioned this process is called SDLC. Okay, and sometimes they call it waterfall. Okay, you remember that is what we have covered maybe a few days ago. Okay, so waterfall and SDLC are here, so it cannot be one of them, right? So it's kind of because both of them are
Can I
represented.
describe the answers?
Yeah? I'm sorry.
Can I describe the answer?
Yes, I'm describing the answer. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying here, okay, we wanted to develop a software, right? So the early beginning, guys, of the development of the software, we mentioned this was a way called SDLC, which is consist from the planning all the way to testing and implementation and all the stuff, guys. So this is the SDLC. They call it in some books waterfall as well, because you have stages that happen as like the water coming from up all the way down until execution. So these two both words are the same. Okay, so this is makes me suspicious. Okay, why he will add, if he add waterfall backslash SDLC, I will understand. But then again, and he guys, he mentioned we wanted to really be able to really give a small batches. Small batches means like a small, I would say, like if you develop a little bit, you once you develop it, you implement it, you test it, and you give a feedback right away. Okay. So there is another way of this is the new way of doing things. It's called agile. Agile means I'm not gonna develop the whole software, and at the end I will test the software and see the customer feedback. Why? Because if I did this, maybe the customer by the end of the day, guys, comes and say, you know what? I didn't really require this function. I didn't really require these features. I didn't really require these things. So it was really bad because we need to wait for the entire cycle to finish until we come to the user feedback. What they end up saying, okay, you know what? Let's instead of implementing the whole software and design the whole software, we will do this in a more like way. So we'll implement one function, okay, and this function we will test this function, get the user feedback about this function, and then go back and to really develop another thing. Okay, so this is called agile, and even agile right now moved to something called DevOps. Why? Because they find that DevOps, guys, is more good, is more better, because you know agile will have to do this iterative cycles many times, and then finally, okay, you need to talk to someone in the operation team to operate this server. Okay, but they wanted really to be very fast. Whatever function we will testing, if it passed the testing phase, it will be deployed to the software right away. So for example, Facebook decided really to have a new feature today. So they developed that feature. They test this feature and they're not gonna say, okay, let's us to do 3-4 other feature and then deploy it. No, we will deploy it right away. So Agile was a way to really deploy small batches, or to implement, to design and deploy small batches quickly. And DevOps now, it make it even more quicker by implementing dev and operation. Operation means you will have a development, or you have, I would say, you have your servers up and running. And once you finish testing the new batch of features, you can deploy it right away. So if you guys wanted to see the whole diagram, the first of all, it started with something called waterfall SDLC, and then we developed Agile, because Agile is really getting small batches of updates and features and asking the user to really give the feedback right away. And then Agile moved to something called DevOps, and DevOps is basically what I just explained here. You combine the development and operation, so you can really have features running in your updates in much quicker way. And then DevOps become DevSecOps right now. So this is the whole, I would say, the development life cycles and how did it changes by time. So waterfall, okay, which is SDLC, the same meaning, okay, and then Agile, and then DevOps and DevSecOps. This is the whole, I would say, the whole history of software development, okay? And Agile, guys, was mentioned in the lectures. Again, I'm giving you the lectures to really read a little bit about. I cannot really explain everything. So we're trying. Okay, again, what also makes me sure it is not SDLC, I mentioned SDLC and waterfall, the same meaning. Dynamic code analysis means that I will do analysis when the code is running. When I implement the website and the website is running, I will do dynamic code analysis, something like vulnerability scanner, to see if there's a vulnerability. So this is also will take this out of the equation. And waterfall and SDLC means the same thing. It will take this out of the equation, and we will end up with Agile because we are looking at small batches of updates. Okay, so this is the answer for this question, guys. Again, here's it's important to parameterize query to prevent, and it gives you some option here. So I think this will be an obvious answer because we already covered this a few minutes ago, right? Okay, we'll give it more time for people to read the answers here. Is it gonna be memory overflow? Are we gonna be injecting anything in the memory? Okay, is parameterized query will try to protect memory overflow? So this is one is definitely wrong. Okay, the establishment of web shell that would allow unauthorized access. Okay, so the web shell and unauthorized access to your application. Okay, is parameterized queries is gonna stop this. Okay, the queries from using an outdated library. So if we have an outdated library, this is we mentioned this as a vulnerability called third-party, components vulnerability. So this doesn't have to do anything with parameterized query. So this will end up the execution of unauthorized action against a database. Okay, which is basically, this is exactly SQL injection. The another mean for it. Okay, so mashallah, I see Naif is saying this is basically a SQL injection as well. So this is a question. Okay, so we have also a question over here, guys. This is a scenario-based questions. Again, I'm not trying to enforce scenarios, but I wanted you guys to look at what is the proper answers here after reading the scenarios. So can you see the scenario here? Okay. Okay, so I just wanted you guys to read what exactly the attacker has been compromised to answer this question. What the attackers has been compromised in this situation. The answer in this area, okay? So they compromise what? Okay, again, they compromise what inside this organization? Okay, let's just focus on this. They compromise the email system. They compromise the email system. If I know they compromise the email system, would I use the email system under any circumstances? Because when I compromise the email system, that means I compromise the keys. So no encryption will be working here in this case, right? So this is so another thing here. So all the encrypted email and all certified emails will not work in this case because they are compromising the email. Again, I also to who I have to talk to, okay? Immediately, notifying the board immediately, okay? Notifying the board. If I post something in the company blog, okay, means this is where everyone can see, okay? And, usually the CIO or the CEO we're not looking at the blog of the company, because the blog of the company, we can, share news on it and everything. So they are not really focused on reading the blogs every single minute. I wanted something immediately, and that will be a phone call, a VoIP phone call. Okay, guys? Because if I posted something in the company blog, I'm not only notifying the board, I'm notifying everyone in the company. I'm telling everyone in the company, which is also something I don't want to do. I wanted only to notify. And that's why it takes us to VoIP of a phone call. So again, the scenarios, guys, I wanted also you to really focus on the small things. So here, compromise the email system, okay? I wanted to tell the board immediately, okay? This will help you to really solve this kind of scenario. So read between the lines, and inshallah, it will be equal. Okay, here we got another question. So this is like a kind of incident response, okay? And this incident response saying that basically your antivirus was not able to detect the virus. How can we really find this virus, or how can we really extract evidence about this virus? Okay, so Faisals are saying it could be E or C. Okay, agree. Okay, Nawar is saying C. Okay. Okay. I just wanted, guys, again, I just wanted, okay, I just wanted an answer here because the antivirus was not able to detect this virus. Okay. So that's mean what kind of viruses that is antivirus could not see?
I believe it's fileless. It's running only in the memory, so the antivirus could not see it because it's not gonna be running in the system. It's gonna run, like in the back end of the system. So I believe it's gonna be hard to detect.
Bravo, Faisal. So exactly what Faisal is saying, that I have a virus that the antivirus cannot see. That means it's not in the hard drive. It's not in the registry, because the registry is really keys that exist in the hard drive. So it's something out there working in my computer and the antivirus cannot see. So this is definitely something in the memory. Okay. Again, if I wanted to extract evidence, if we remember, guys, when we talked about extract evidence, we talked about two ways to extract evidence, something called order of volatility. When we talked about order of volatility, we said there is some things that can we really extract and really analyze before it's gone, if the computer started, if the computer rebooted. So this is good. So this is going to be the system memory. Your first thing. And then network packets. You can really see this virus coming into network packets, but it's not easy really to do the network packets because you have to look at all the packets in the organization to find. I'm talking about only one single that I know the antivirus couldn't really find, so it's definitely living in the memory. So dumping the memory, guys, would be the easiest and straightforward solution. Okay, but again, I'm not saying that network packets are wrong, especially if I will be able to do full packet capture. I need to do full packet capture, not only the metadata, because there is difference. Your SIM solution, guys, work with the metadata. It can tell you who's the sender, who's the receivers, what time we receive this packet. But in order to really see the entire packet, we need to have another solution. We'll do something called full packet analysis. And full packet analysis means I would be downloading all these packets in a storage and will be looking on them. So the easiest way here, okay, that's the virus is fileless and he lives in the memory, so I can extract the memory and I can see what is happening here. But this is, I'm also not saying that it was wrong to say in network packets I can see the data. Okay, so here, guys, which of the following, okay, could be prevented by using output encoding? This is answer for one of you guys when was saying that's why not output encoding. Yeah. Okay, so I can see, mashallah, Faisal saying this is gonna be cross-site scripting. Really, yes. So again, output encoding. This is where we change, special characters exactly with encoding and encoding mechanism. And then if your code even in the website, it will not be executed to anyone who views a website. So output encoding will make sure that your script that injection will not be executed, and that's, for example, for sure will stop the cross-site scripting. So again, cross-site scripting can be done and also using input validation. So input validation can be done in the client or the server sides along with output encoding. Okay. So this is a question which is covering the mail lecture that we talked about mail systems and how mail system is working and what kind of strategy to secure mail and to really stop the phishing emails. So over here, guys, we are talking about SPF, which is one of the techniques. So which one of these answers is right? We have four answers here. Okay, so Razan is saying C, okay. Ibtisam is saying A or B, okay. The IP address of this organization or no? Who should we talk to really has this record, okay, that can translate between domain and IP address? This is your question should be, okay? I'm gonna talk to the mail server itself to tell him what is your SPF. I'm gonna talk to the domain controller. I'm gonna talk to a web server, okay? Or I'm gonna talk to the DNS. So this is the question. Now I am an email server, got an email from someone. I really need to verify if these emails are coming from the right IP address. Who has all the translation between the IP address and MX record for the company? Okay, is it the email server itself? Okay, or it's the domain controller or the DNS? Exactly. So Faisal saying DNS. So the answer is DNS. You will find this record, guys. I remember that I explained why DNS is very important in email system. So the DNS will have the record, and for sure, your mail server, when he gets the email and wanted to verify, he will go back to your DNS and ask him, "This is your really MX record?" If he say yes, then I will trust this email and I will let this email to pass. If he say no, then I will just drop this email or quarantine this email. Okay, so this is a question for here. Okay, and here, guys, is saying that I really need to handle, okay, proper error handling at runtime. Just focus on this, okay? So I really wanted to really ensure proper error handling at runtime, okay? Which of these guys will be make sure that you can handle the errors that's happen in the runtime? Which of these techniques? And here, guys, also you need to really try to eliminate the wrong answers, and then, okay, and then you can see what is the answer is. Okay. So the answer for this question, again, we mentioned that at runtime will exclude two answers from here, guys. So it will exclude static code analysis and code review. Why? Because both of these stages, guys, are done while the code is still in development phase. So when you develop you can do the software code review, which is manual way to have someone to look at your code, or to do a static code analysis to look for issues with your code or bugs in your code. And we mentioned that's okay. So now I have runtime. So my application is running now in the environment. And now I wanted to really see, okay, what inputs. So I wanted to really see how error is happening in order to handle this error. Okay. So what I will do, guys, I have two options: input validation, ensure input validation, or require fuzzing. Okay. So what is fuzzing again? If you want to, fuzzing means to throw inputs to my application, how my application will behave, and accordingly, I will be able to handle this error. Okay, so this is, guys, is part of I would say vulnerability assessment. They do some of the vulnerability assessment like ZAP or Burp Suite. They will do something called fuzzing. Fuzzing will throw different inputs to all the data input fields and see what kind of errors I'll get. Once I get an error, okay, I will really read this error and see what kind of messages of error, and this is will allow me to later on to handle the error. Okay. The right answer here is application fuzzing, and the application fuzzing is part of vulnerability assessment. Okay. Input validation, guys, is used to really to verify user inputs. Okay, but it will not show me all the question here. Okay.
Shadi.
Okay. I'm sorry. My voice is really not clear.
Yeah, we can just only hear 2 words, and like 5, 6 we can't, and for
okay,
2, 3 seconds.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll try to repeat this again one more time, guys. Okay, so we need to focus on the word runtime. Okay, runtime means that your application is up and running right now. Up and running means that you are in staging or testing environment, and you can see your website is running. This will take out these two answers. Okay, so these two answers will be taken out. Why? Because performing static code analysis is happening once you develop. Okay, you will have a software which can really look at what you have written and find if there's a bugs here. Also, code review is done once you develop. Okay, exactly. This is done exactly after SAM. This is done before even we run the software at all. We have another eye to look at your code and tell you if you're reading something. And this is usually someone senior in your team. Okay, so this is code review. So this is runtime will exclude both of these answers. Okay, we have now two answers left: input validation and application fuzzing. Okay, so we need to really find out. We think that we really need to ensure error handling. Okay, proper error handling. I need to find out what is the error first. Okay, where is the error coming from? And that's what fuzzing technique is all about. Fuzzing techniques means I will have my application running here, and I will throw all different inputs to this. I will throw SQL injection, I will throw cross-site scripting, I will throw, I will throw, for example, command injection, okay? And we'll see how my application will react and what kind of error I'm getting. And once I will get an error, I will go back and I will handle this error, okay? While input validation, guys, is all about, it's a protection techniques for certain inputs, okay? So this is a protection technique. This is where I can really, where can I really get a recommendation how to handle errors that shows from my application. Okay, guys? Is my voice still cutting?
It's clear now.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
and that's why you can find a lot of vulnerability scanner. They will come up with a fuzzing module like ZAP attack. There's some vulnerability scanner from OWASP called ZAP. There is another one called Burp Suite, which is also is a fuzzer that can really you tell this, okay, I wanted to really fuzz this application, and it will throw all different type of inputs to this application and see what kind of error message you will get. Okay, so this is the answer for this question. Okay, so let's move on and
Oh,
move
okay, then Mr. Asad is, I'm sorry, Mr. Shadi, is the answer fuzzing?
fuzzing. Yes, require application fuzzing. We do
So
fuzzing, can see error
it's
and
because,
handle it.
yeah, it's because it handled the error at that one time.
Yes, this is
Okay.
will allow
Got
you
it.
to see the error in the runtime, and then later on you protect your environment by enforce
Okay,
error
got it.
termination.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so let's look at some maybe a bit tricky questions. So let's look at this. We have the security analyst. They were running a security scanners and they got this output, and they wanted to really tell if there is a false positive in this output. Okay, so you need to remember what is false positive mean. Okay, and you really need to read this whole scenario here and answer with the most, what is most likely to be a false positive here. So you just try to remember what is false positive to start with. Okay, I'll give you guys 1 minute for this question because this question is a little bit tricky. Just read again the questions and try to remember what is false positive means. So Asai is saying the ISMB is false positive. Okay. So again, guys, this is basically the CVID. So it's saying what is the common vulnerability and exploit ID. As we mentioned before, every single exploit does have an ID, and this ID is consists of two parts. The first part is date when they discover this vulnerability, and the second part is the ID, a number according to the common vulnerability website, okay, which is run by NIST. Okay, and you can see this is different CVID, and we talked about something called common vulnerability scoring systems. The scoring system is giving a vulnerability according to if it's compromising confidentiality, integrity, availability. Can this vulnerability exploited remotely during the network, can be exploited with an authorization or no, and all this kind of stuff. So we can see over here a lot of also scores. So this is none, doesn't have any score. This have a 5 or 7.5. Okay, so we really need to look at this, guys. It's saying that this is company utilize Linux servers. Okay, so this company utilize Linux servers. So this is the first part I wanted you guys to concern about. Okay, the second part is, okay, when you have Linux servers, what could be a false positive? What false positive? Something being identified as an attack, while in matter of fact, it is not attack. Okay, so this is what the false positive. So I highlighted to you, it's an attack happening, but it's not an attack, because this is what false positive means. So according to do this, information, look at this, guys. Okay, we have here something called Windows SMB. Okay, so do we have any Windows servers inside this organization?
No, we don't.
We don't, right? We don't have any Windows, right? So if we don't have any Windows, so if I got vulnerability saying that there is a vulnerability in Windows, okay, what that means?
It's not related to our system.
Yes, it's false positive. It's been identified as a vulnerability, but we really don't have any kind of Windows servers. Okay, so this is false positive. As soon as you can see this, you can just ignore it. Okay, you got what's happening here, guys? So this is what's happening here in this diagram. We look at this because ISMB is part of all the TCP stack, so it exists in everywhere. Okay, FTP is also could be, you can run FTP on Linux servers. Okay, unsupported web servers, Apache or Dedictions also can be part of Linux. But the only thing that doesn't belong to here and doesn't belong to the systems and that's utilized by this company is basically Windows SMB service. Okay, so this is something you guys really to focus on. Okay, that's why the security scenarios one, I wanted you guys to really read it and look at it in a very, I would say, take your time to read it and understand the scenario. Which is a following technology can be used to house the interrupt keys, okay, for task encryption on desktop and laptops. Okay, so we have, okay, I wanted you guys to remember, okay, this is gonna be in a desktop and a laptop, not for the entire organization, okay? So this is only for certain computers, okay, within the organization. Okay, which one technology that we covered in a very quick way that allow us to really handle the encryption key within a computer, okay? So I can see some of you guys saying D, some of you saying C, okay? And also Ibtihal is saying A, okay? And also Nawar saying A. Or D, okay. So where we're gonna see save the data, where we can save the keys. Okay, so we are working with the keys. Okay, and to be honest, guys, the answer for this question could be 2. Okay, and I will explain why 2. So it could be the TBM, okay, or it could be on Drive. Okay, and I'll explain why. So TBM again, why it's not HSM? Okay, first of all, HSM, guys, is used for the entire organization. I wanted to save my keys, my web servers, okay, for my virtualization, for my TLS certificates. So there's so many things that I can save it here in the HSM. Okay, the TBM, guys, is a device that can save the key and handle the key within your computer. And that's why if you don't have a TBM within your computer, you will not be able to do the encryption for your hard drive, okay? So if you don't have a TBM, the option is self-encrypting drive, okay? And this will be an external drive that you can save the key to it, okay? And then disconnect it from the system. Okay, you only connect it if you wanted to really decrypt the data, okay? The TBM, if it exists, then you can save the key in the TBM. And again, this is kind of, confusing, but again, if you don't have the TBM, it will be the self-encrypting drive, okay? So this is the answer for this question. Okay, here another question, guys. Let's look at this questions. I'm just gonna make it bigger so you can guys see. Okay, so this is with saying a security analyst need to identify possible threats to a complex system a client is developing. Okay, so just the key answer here is a client is development. Which one of these is the answers? Okay, so we have C, Okay. Asail is saying C. I wanted to tell me why C. Okay. If you're saying C, why is Open Application Security Project is a C? I'm talking about possible threats. Okay. Naif is saying D. Okay. Why is D? Whoever saying why is what number, he can tell me. So Ibtisam saying D and
Adi,
yeah.
you mentioned it's a possible threat, so it might be like spoofing, tampering, and redemption and
Yeah,
information.
exactly. Yeah. So this is what I told you guys about before, something called we do when we develop something is threat modeling. Remember when I told you when I have Amazon interview before, and they will give you a system, and then you have to come with idea with all type of threats, and then come with idea with all type of vulnerability, and or you come up with an idea for how to mitigate this vulnerability. All type of threats, guys, we called it a threat modeling. Okay, what is the famous threat modeling? There is a threat modeling called Stride from Microsoft, and it is this one over here. We are not talking about vulnerabilities here because OWASP is top 10 vulnerabilities. So software assurance maturity model, this is a completely something about maturity and coding and the quality of coding. So it's not really is part and open source security information management. I think this is something, a lab that you have done. This is basically could be used as a threat intelligence, and could be used also as a log management system. So this is basically wrong. This is also wrong. Okay, Open Web Application Project Security Project is based on vulnerabilities and the top 10 vulnerabilities. The only way here to look at the threats over here in the complex systems, we call it threat modeling. Okay, and the threat modeling is saying here in Stride, saying, you know what, spoofing. Okay, spoofing that you can pretend someone else. It could be a threat. Tampering with the system could be a threat. Repudiation, which is basically you are tampering with the system and then you say it's not me that who done this. Information disclosure could be a threat. Denial of service could be a threat. Evasion of privilege or escalation of privilege is also a threat. So this is, we call it Stride, and it's developed by Microsoft, and it's well-known way to look at the threats within the organization. Okay, guys, so this is the answer for this question. Okay, so let's look at this also very quick scenario. Okay, we talked about EDR before. Okay, and here it's saying that you have a CEO of a large insurance company as reported. Okay, Nawar, mashallah. I like this, mashallah, your confidence. Okay, by the way, guys, these questions are taken from the CISA Plus exam. So again, train as much as you can. You can find so many sources in Google. Okay, say, you know, I'm just gonna give you some quick way we look at this. You just can go to Google and say, you know what, CISA Plus dumps. Okay, you look for these dumps. Okay, and there's some websites will give you a free dumps. Okay, just to look at Breve Away. This is one of the websites, and this is it will give you the name of the exam, and you can download. Now this is paid. I want one which is not paid.
The other one in top of it was saying free.
This one, brain dumps, yes. Okay, so brain dumps, you can just download one of these guys, okay? So CompTC Plus certification exam, yes, this one. Okay. And then when you start the interactive exams, usually they do have a PDF files, okay? But we have over 372, okay? And you can see, guys, you have all the questions, and you have a way to answer the question and see why your answer is correct or no. So this is another way to train yourself. And even if you're preparing for the exam, okay, this will be a very great source to really prepare, to see how kind of questions you will get. Yeah, and not always working. Naif is saying that Dumbus is not always working, but it's giving you guys an idea about how the exam will look like. Plus, you studying, okay, it will give you the complete circle, because you know, I would say 20% or 30% out of this question you will find it in the exam, because they have some kind of question that is testing your foundation understanding of certain topics. They cannot really change. So we say find 30%, 40%. So this is exactly what you want. You wanted really this kind of question to help you, and the rest of the questions you will be really relying on your knowledge about the topic. So I'm not saying that don't study and study the dump and go to the exam, then you will fail. Okay, the possibility that you pass only by dumps is 10%. Okay, give me guys 1 second. I need to connect my computer to. I'm just giving you this website. Just quickly, let me connect this. Okay, so I'm just telling you guys this could be helping you to look at to this things. Okay, and this, as you can see. Exactly, and Nawar is saying very important thing, guys, here, that when you study, okay, also the exams, sorry, the dumps, it can really open the door for you to really learn something new about something you didn't study. So it's good idea. Okay, see, look at this. This question over here. Which of the following should a database administrator implement to best protect data from an untrusted server administrator? So you have someone who's an untrusted server administrator, and he's gonna look at the database and see some very classified data. What can we really do in order to do this? So you get the answer. So here you can say no. So this is kind of questions. It's important, and it's also important when inshallah you work, you can really implement this kind. Okay, so we will try to continue as much as we can from these questions. And again, I have shared with you the source, and we'll try these 2 days to really try to solve as much as we can from CYSA questions, and it will try to explain it. So this will give you a good. So here's the question over here. This is the word here, guys, is not lion, it's organization. I think you just like a messed up space over here. Okay, it's saying turn on full behavior analysis to avert an infection. Okay. Okay, what is full behavior analysis, guys? So this is the first question. Okay. So here it's saying that you need to implement something, okay, to really prevent against this type of attacks. Okay. Again, the key here, I wanted to prevent. Okay. Okay, I see only 2 answers. I have A. Okay, no one wanted to really use EDRs, because EDR can really look at your emails, okay, and start to analyze this email and start to really. Okay, so I have Faisal saying A or B. Okay, Afra is saying basically B. Okay, so let's just try to exclude the things that doesn't make sense here. Okay, so here reconfigure the EDR solution to perform real-time scanning for all files. We're not talking about files. Okay, we are talking about emails. So this will be excluded. Ensure EDR signature are updated every day to avert infection. And again, this is also not gonna stop emails from coming or phishing emails. Why? Because even if we have the best signature in the whole world, guys, this signature can be really easy deceived. Okay, modify EDR solution to use a heuristic analysis technique for malware. We are not talking here about also malwares. We are talking about phishing emails. So we end up with these two modules. Okay, so the full behavior analysis, guys, is something that we mentioned today or before about, about we are getting logs from different, okay, sources to really see what our users are doing. So this is behavior analysis that I mentioned, okay? But when we get this full behavior analysis, guys, it will send us an alert, okay, to our SIEM. And then our engineer, okay, really need to analyze this kind of, guys, of analytic and say, this was an attack or no. So this why, guys, over here, this is turning full behavior analysis is detection techniques, okay? And we wanted to prevent, okay? We wanted really to take an action and prevent. So turn on the behavior analysis. It will say that the user click a link, okay? And it will send an alarm to the SIEM or the SOC engineer, but it's not gonna stop the attack, okay? So what we wanted to do is to prevent against this type of attacks. If you can see here, we are implementing an EDR email module. So this is a new email module that we will write and analyze, and accordingly, we will take a response. So the response here, we automate the response by the EDR, and the EDR can really, delete the extra links or quarantine the email that we are suspecting it's a phishing email. Okay, guys? So this is the answer is number B. Why full behavior analysis will not be a preventive control? Because it's really detection control. Okay, EDR is gonna be the one that can detect and response at the same time, which is what we really wanted in this case, preventing. Okay, guys? So this is another questions. Let's look at this one over here. Okay, so we have data spillage occurred when an employee accidentally emailed a sensitive file to an external recipient. Okay, what kind of solution here, guys, will stop this kind of attack? Okay. The first one is saying SSO, guys, is single sign-on. We talked about single sign-on. Is it related? I have no clue if it's related or not. Single sign-on will stop someone to send external data. Okay. Also, WAF is what we call web application firewall. So this is kind of preventive controls to really look at data coming from inside, trying to reach your web application and try to look for top 10 vulnerabilities. So this is really not gonna stop someone internally to send something over the email. So WAF is not gonna be. VDI is something called virtual desktop environment or index, and this is have nothing to do here. So the only solution here is data loss prevention that we talked about a few days ago. When we mentioned the data loss prevention can really be, when I explain the part between your files, okay, and your users, okay, you need to really have something in between to see if this user are allowed to access the data according to the classification. And if he really need to access the data, can he take a screenshot? Can he send an emails outside? Can he copy this data to USB? So we talked about DP solution in the data classification module. And we mentioned this could be really the solution that you're looking at in this such situation of someone is trying to send sensitive files, because there is a policy, and this policy can match certain files or certain string in the file and can really or certain classification for data and can really stop this kind of, sending data outside in not a proper way. Okay, guys? So let's look at this. So this is basically a scenario about cloud. So I will let you guys read the cloud scenario and tell me what do you think. See, mashallah, we have different opinions, okay? And I wanted you guys to focus again on the requirements. Okay, the organization has three environments, one in development, one testing, and one production. So somehow these guys will definitely be talking to each other one day, okay? These environments have interdependencies, okay? They have some things between them common, but must remain relatively segmented, okay? So what kind of segmentation that can we do on the cloud?
Separated VBS, VPC, because they can talk to each other when needed, and they don't have to be, like in the same VPC.
Yes, exactly. So we have to create one cloud account with the 3 separate VPC, and we assign each VPC with VPC with each. We can create one cloud account with and separate VPC for each environment. بعد كده create security rules and security knuckles to allow the communication between if we need. Okay. Yeah. So let me just reply to Abir because Abir is asking me. Okay. Okay. Yo, sure. We can take a break. I'm gonna wait, guys. Out 10 minutes. I'll wait 10 minutes more, and then we get all break for like 20 minutes, and then Abir will start with you 11 o'clock for another revision. Okay. So just for 10:30. Can we start our break now at 10:30? I know it's not easy to have a long sessions, but only for 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this, guys. Let's see, look at some easy kind of, questions. Okay, let's look at this scenario thing. Okay.